Welcome back to another video. Today I want to go through another companion planting experiment. Basically, I'm going to be working with 3 or 4 different species. We have Dame's Rocket, Campion, Motherwort, and Common Mallow. I want to see how these plants work together and survive together in a garden plot. Okay, so what I have here so far is I can zoom out a little bit. I put down some thatch of some large ornamental grasses and stalks of perennial plants down on top of the grass. And then on top of that, I put down a layer of cardboard. On top of the cardboard, I put down some soil and fill from various areas of the property. And I will be adding more to that in the next few days. And then here we have a log. I'm going to be adding some more logs and some branches around the perimeter to help add more of a stability aspect to help hold the soil in place in this raised bed. I'm going to kind of take a clue from nature and companion plant the Dame's Rocket and Bladder Campion, and then, like I said, some Motherwort as well in here, since those 3 species seem to be found growing together, or at least they do in my property, and they seem to do quite well in that kind of environment. I've always been highly interested in finding and growing a perennial brassica or cruciferous vegetable, one that I can just plant and I don't have to replant year in and year out, because that can really get tiring after a while. So many of our commodity commercial crops are annual plants. So I'm trying to shift to more of a perennial inclusive form of agriculture in this garden. Okay, so here we have the garden in question. We've got the Dame's Rocket in 2 rows, one going up this way and the other one on the other side. In the middle we have the Motherwort, which is the taller plant right there. And then we have the Common Mallow, which is taking up the ground cover here. Now, when I transplanted the Common Mallow in here, it took a little while to recover from the transplant shock. But the Motherwort, the Dame's Rocket, both did quite well. The Dame's Rocket, though, you just had to make sure you kept it watered every day as it was getting used to its new spot in the garden. Then on the very edge, which is kind of hard to see here, but here we have some Campion. Can kind of zoom in a little bit, and those transplanted really well, made themselves right at home. Didn't even need a whole lot of watering or anything like that when they were transplanted in, but they're doing pretty well. So to recap, we have the Campion on the outside rows, we have the Dame's Rocket, the Motherwort, along with the Common Mallow, and then it's essentially a mirror reflection on the other side. Of course, here we have the logs and branches forming the perimeter to help hold the soil in. You can see that the grass is starting to grow up a little bit. I do keep it a little weed whacked around the edge. Yeah, overall it seems to be doing quite well. The Dame's Rocket is approaching the end of its flowering season, so it's coming out with seed pods now. The plants probably would have been a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, but because they were transplanted, they were not able to achieve their full growth potential this season, but hopefully next season they will be robust and full and ready to grow. Now the question is, why would I choose these plants? Well, the Dame's Rocket is actually a plant in the mustard family. So the Dame's Rocket, it's a perennial mustard, so it comes back each year, so you don't have to plant it year in and year out. This helps to minimize the disruption on the soil, and therefore helps to minimize the disruption of any of the mycelial networks of the fungi and the microbiome going on within the soil. So this minimal disruption of the soil helps to support the soil's fertility and stability. So of course the leaves, the flowers, and the flower buds are all edible on the Dame's Rocket plant. You can eat them raw, you can cook them up. Flowering heads before they bloom, you can pick them, you can steam them like you would broccoli. What I'd like to do with them in the future is experiment with freezing some of these flower buds for over the winter. The Dame's Rocket is also a good pollinator plant. It can be somewhat invasive in certain areas, so definitely do your research, and if it's particularly pestilent in your area, you might want to choose a different plant. Now the Campion plant has an edible green. You can eat it raw or cooked, so you can throw them into a salad or you can cook them up into a stew or a soup, and it's a perennial, so it comes back each year, so you can get perennial greens year in and year out. When it's in bloom, it can also attract some pollinators. The motherwort is an excellent pollinator plant, and I found it growing along with the Campion and the Dame's Rocket, so I wonder if there's already like a natural complementary relationship going on there, but I don't really know. Common mallow I was hoping to try and use as more of a ground cover that would kind of carpet the ground. Of course, it has edible parts as well. It's kind of mucilaginous, kind of like okra. It is related to okra, so you can throw them in soups and stews if you like the texture, and if you don't like the texture, then maybe not. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I may do an update later on. At the end of the growing season, just to kind of document where things are, how things have gone, if it's something I want to continue to pursue next year, or if there are any changes or modifications that I might want to make to the system. But like I said, that'll be a video for the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and I hope to catch you in the next video.